All right, everybody. This is Eric Worre. Hope you're good, and I hope you're excited about tonight's webinar. Mostly, I hope that you have a pen and paper, something to write with, in order to be able to capture this information. I will let you know, we had over 13,000 people register for this webinar tonight, and the capacity and the timing, it was challenging for different people around the world. So just know that you're going to get, everybody that's on this is going to get a replay. You're going to be able to watch this more than once. So if your hand's getting tired as you're writing all this stuff down, and there's a lot of stuff we're going to cover over the course of the next 90 minutes, if your hand gets tired, just know that you can go back and you can fill in the blanks. But this is really the gateway skill in network marketing. This is the skill that until you figure out how to get more people to take a look at your network marketing opportunity, you're just going to really struggle, because if you can't get somebody to take a look, how are you going to get customers? How are you going to get distributors? How can you build a team? So this is the beginning. This is really the most important thing. If there's any skill to develop, you know, you hear me talk about different skills all the time. I think the highest paying skill is getting people to attend events, because that does so many different things for you. But the gateway skill is getting more people to take a look. And as we start, I want to mention GoPro for just a moment. As we start, I'm continuing to be just so blown away at the reception to the book, GoPro. It has spent about 160 straight days in Amazon's top 100 books in the world. It remains at the top of the bestseller list in about 5 or 6 categories for about 160 days in a row. It is completely confusing the publishing world, because they just don't understand how a self-published book can be doing this much in sales. These huge authors are coming out with books, and they'll bounce to the top for a second, and then GoPro just stays there as they fade one at a time. It's really an awful lot of fun, and I'm speaking a lot with different companies around the world. And the last 2 weekends I spoke in Washington, D.C. About 10 days ago, and then this last weekend I spoke in Charlotte, North Carolina, for 2 different organizations. And what was so gratifying and so fun is I asked each crowd how many of them had GoPro, and 95% of both rooms already had the book before I even showed up. It's just so exciting to see, and the stories that I hear over and over and over about people making a decision to go pro, people making a decision to work on the skills, people using this book to create common language inside their organizations. It's really gratifying. It's why I did it, and I'm super excited. And a lot of great things are happening inside of the Network Marketing Pro community. One, our GoPro Recruiting Mastery event sold out. 5,000 people. Now, 4 years ago we had 200 people, and then the next year we had 400 people. Last year we had 800 people, and this year we're going to have 5,000 people. And I apologize for those of you who didn't get registered so far, because I can't get you into this event. I've got a great announcement at the end of this webinar that I think you're all going to be very excited about in terms of the event. But next year we're working on a venue that will hold 10,000 people, and it's just very exciting. So many things are happening. The fan page, if you haven't gone over to Facebook, the Network Marketing Pro fan page, if you go to facebook.com/NMPro, you'll find there's 173,000 people from all over the world part of that community, and it's exciting to be able to talk with them every single day and work with them every single day. It's an awful proud to be connected with all. I'm proud to be connected with all of you. I'm proud to be working with all of you. I'm proud to be an unofficial upline / friend / fan of what it is that you do. And it's very gratifying for me. So tonight is a little bit of giving back. It's the reason why we do this webinar for free. And thank you for all of you for getting your organizations connected, and we're going to be able to get a lot of stuff done, okay? So let's get started. and talk about how to get more people to look at your network marketing opportunity. How do you get more people to do that? Inviting prospects. You know, if you're going to be inviting prospects, understand, like I told you, this is the gateway skill. A lot of people think that reputation and influence are the keys to getting people to take a look, and that's not really true. There's so many people who start off in network marketing and don't have reputation and influence. If you work on these skills that we're going to talk about tonight, reputation and influence aren't important. Your resume isn't important. How you've done in the past really isn't important. This will help you change from being a hunter to a professional. A lot of people in network marketing, they approach this like they're a predator. They're trying to get people. And that's not what this is about. If you approach your prospects like a hunter instead of a farmer, a predator instead of a consultant and a friend, then people feel that. And they feel like you're trying to get them. And when you're trying to get people, people's red flags go up and they run away. So this will help you develop the professional mindset. So here's what the professional mindset is when it comes to inviting people. 1, build relationships. You're going to be building relationships with prospects and helping them understand what it is that we have. The goal is not to get anyone. The goal is to educate people and inspire them, to let them know that we have a better way, and this might help them be able to capitalize on their dreams. As we do this, we're going to be building trust and transferring belief. That's when people take action, when you build trust and then transfer belief, educate people as to what it is that we have. I've learned through the years that professionals don't really pitch. They're not pitching. They're not strong-arming people. They're not hard closing people. They act more, they get face-to-face, and they act as more like a consultant. They build relationships. They educate. They build trust. They don't pitch. They get face-to-face whenever possible because they understand that getting face-to-face helps to build the relationships in the process. But how do you get people face-to-face? Let's talk about some emotional rules for inviting, okay? 4 emotional rules for inviting people to take a look at your opportunity. First, and this one's hard, is emotionally detach from the outcome. In other words, don't be attached to whether they say yes or they say no. Your job is to connect with people and build relationships, build trust, and tell the story in as professional a way as possible so they can go from being blind to being able to see. And if you do that, then you're going to be fine. So emotionally detach from the outcome. Whether they say yes or they say no, you're going to learn from every experience. Number 2 is be yourself, but be your best self. Be your most excited self. Be your most professional self. But don't change who you are when you're going out to talk to people. Be yourself. Number 3 is bring your passion. If you're inviting with passion, if you're inviting with enthusiasm, okay? If you're inviting with some energy, people want to get around that because they don't have any energy in their day-to-day work. They don't have any energy in their life. They don't have any energy in their job. There's not a lot of passion. So when somebody shows up with some passion, especially if you're maybe an introverted person, you don't show a lot of passion all the time, but all of a sudden you're passionate about this, it piques people's curiosity. So bring your passion, emotionally detach from the outcome, and be yourself. And number 4, posture is important. Posture, how you carry yourself, how you hold yourself. And what I did at the very beginning is I got around some successful people, and even though I wasn't the most powerful person, I imagined the most powerful people that I knew, and I changed my posture when I was inviting. I put a mirror in front of my desk where I made phone calls, and I looked in the mirror and I smiled when I did the phone calls. When I was face to face with somebody, I was strong. I wasn't a apologizing all the time. And I will tell you, so many people, because you're projecting your own insecurities to your prospects, so many people apologize in their invitation. They apologize for network marketing when they're inviting prospects, and they don't even realize that they're doing it. You know, I'm sorry to bother you. That's an apology. You know, you might not be interested in this. That's an apology. You know, anytime you're backing up with your posture, they sense that and they go, it's not that big a deal. It's not that real. So posture is really important. And I will tell you, for me, sometimes I needed to listen to some great music or listen to an audio. I would listen to Jim Rohn, or I'd listen to Les Brown, or I'd listen to some great music that would get me inspired, and it would help my posture and it would help my passion. And then I was ready to get on the phone and start inviting some people. So whatever trick you need to do to get your posture right, to get your passion right, and to understand that there's no good or bad experiences in inviting, there's just learning experiences. If you are a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to your professionalism in inviting, understand every time you do an invitation, you have an opportunity to take that 2 and move it up. Every time, even if it's a failure, even if you don't do well, you can learn from it. You can grow from it. You can get better from it. So no good and no bad experiences, emotionally detached, and you're going to learn every single time that you get in front of somebody, you're going to learn something. And after every invitation, I would just jot down a few notes. What did I learn from this? Is there some things that I did well? There's some things I didn't do so well. What can I do to get better the next time? It's not important that you get the prospect. It's important that you get better. A lot of people say, I'd rather be lucky than good, and I think those people are stupid. I'd rather be good than lucky. Who wants to hope to get lucky for the rest of your life? The Network Marketing Pro skills are about being good and walking away from lucky, walking away from shortcuts, walking away from blaming your upline or anybody else for not helping you be what you need to be yourself. Walking away from excuses, okay? And taking charge of your own skills as you're developing the skills that will create a future for you. So, if you've read the book, you know that there are 8 steps to a professional invitation, but we're going to walk through those steps on this webinar and help you, give you some examples. And if we were doing this live together, we'd be doing some role playing on this and helping you really get it clear. But I want to walk through the 8 steps to a professional invitation, because when you understand these 8 steps, your business will change. Step number 1 is to be in a hurry. And I'm going to go through all of these, but let me just give you all 8 right up front. Step number 2 is compliment the prospect. Both very easy things to do. Step 3 is make the invitation. There's different kinds of invitations for different kinds of people. We're going to talk about how to approach your hot market, warm market, cold market, and different invitations for all 3 of those groups. If I would you, the most magical question in network marketing, secret weapon for years. If you master if I would you, my gosh, your results will dramatically improve. Number 5, confirm. Get a time commitment. Number 6, confirm again. Confirm the time commitment, and we're going to walk through that. Number 7, confirm again. Schedule the next call or the next exposure. And number 8, get off the phone. See, this is just basically what I want to be talking about tonight. Mostly is getting on the phone and scheduling a time and creating exposure so people can understand what you have. All we want to do is have them take a look. All we want them to do is suspend their critical mind for a short period of time, open their mind up, and understand what it is that we have. Because if a person has a shred of entrepreneurial bone in their body, it doesn't, the presentation will do the work. The opportunity itself will do the work. You've just got to be able to be good at getting past people's initial resistance to network marketing. their initial preconceptions. Maybe they tried something before, maybe they know somebody who did. We're even going to talk about that a little bit when you get that type of resistance. So let's talk about step one. Step one is be in a hurry. See, this is a psychological issue, and it's very important that you start every invitation with this kind of energy. It's a psychological. People are attracted to the non-needy. And if you're in a hurry, you got some things going on. You're making stuff happen. You don't have a lot of time. People are attracted to that. If you have all the time in the world and you're just going to talk and talk and talk, people are not attracted to that. This will lead to shorter invitations, much shorter invitations. If you do an invitation properly, you can do it in 3 minutes. It's not a long thing. The shorter, the better, actually. It'll lead to less questions. If you're getting tons of questions, well, people say, well, tell me about this, and tell me about that, and tell me about the other thing. That's going to be a challenge for you, especially if you're brand new, to really getting results, right? It'll lead to less resistance. And people will respect you in your time. Okay, so if you understand the psychological issues of being in a hurry, and I'm going to give you some examples, people are attracted to it. It'll lead to shorter invitations, less questions, less resistance, and people are going to respect you more, and they're going to respect your time more, and they're going to treat you like a professional because you're acting like a professional. Think about the most successful people you know. They've got to jump in their step. They've got stuff going on. They don't have time to talk for a million, for an hour on the phone. They're moving. That's the same psychological aspect of step one. And I will tell you, just understanding step one, if you can build this into a habit, this will increase your invitation results by at least 100%. Just step number one. Your results will increase by at least 100% if you'll do this simple step, which is something you can do. You just got to say, before I make the call, I'm in a hurry, and move forward. So let me give you some examples. Here's some examples for warm market, okay, for people that you know. I've got a million things going on, but I'm glad I caught you. I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it was really important I reach you. Do you have a minute? I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it was really important. Well, you get both. I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it was really important that I reach you. You understand the basic concept here? I'm busy. I'm running out the door. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I needed to talk to you. Do you have a minute? I'm running out the door. Needed to talk to you real quick. You got a second? See what that does? It also, for the busy person, it lets them know, okay, this is going to be quick. So they don't need to have any resistance in their mind if you let them know this is going to be fast. So the busiest person will say, sure, go ahead. If you just say, hey, what's going on, how are the kids, everything else, and you're just going really slow, a lot of people are going to be thinking, I'm busy right now. How long is this going to take? Especially you catch them at work, you catch them in the middle of something. But if you go with this approach, those are some examples for warm market. Okay? And understand, if you're trying to write all this down, you're going to have replay of this. And these are also in the GoPro books. You're going to be able to go through this in the GoPro book to be able to kind of go through this each chapter to be able to understand these same things. Same exact examples are in the book. Examples for cold market. You're at a restaurant. You meet somebody at the gym. You are at the mall buying a pair of shoes. Whatever. You run into somebody or somebody gives you great service. Now isn't the time to get into this. And I've got to go, but I have to run, but, you know what I mean? Listen, I got to go. I got stuff going on, but, and then you can go into the next piece, right? Step 2, going into the next piece. Focus on the concept, not the exact words. Those scripts are basically the idea of you're busy, you've got a lot going on, you're excited, your time is short. Okay? That's the basic concept. But understand this. You don't learn something when you remember it. You learn something when you can't forget it. You've got to make this into a habit. It can't just be something that you remember. Oh, yeah, I need to remember to be in a hurry. You've got to make this into a habit. You'll see the top earners, they're moving. They got stuff going on. They don't have time for chit-chat. It depends on the environment. For most of the time, you're going to find that the most successful people have this built into their DNA. Step 2, compliment the prospect. This is, if you're getting resistance, if you're getting too many questions, if you're getting objections, if you're getting, I don't have the time right now, you're not complimenting the prospect. This is absolutely critical that you compliment the prospect sincerely after you've let them know that you don't have a lot of time. This opens the door to communication. This builds instant rapport. It's going to double your results overnight. Step 1 is going to double your results. This will double them again. Understanding that if you compliment the prospect right up front at the beginning, their resistance goes down, it builds rapport, they like you, and people want to listen to people that they like. They don't get complimented that much in their daily lives. We as network professionals, we're complimenting people all the time. So let me give you some examples for warm market. This one is awesome for hot market. Your friends and your family, close friends and family. If this is sincere, you go to that family member and say, listen, you've always been so supportive of me, and I appreciate that so much. Great to use for family and close friends. Great to use. Because it instantly puts them in what type of mindset? A support mindset. You say, listen, I love you. You're my brother. Thank you so much. You've always supported me. And I really appreciate that. You've got an amazing mind for business. You can see things other people don't see. You've given me some of the best service I've ever received. You're super sharp. Can I ask what you do for a living? You know what I mean? You got to, if you talk to people and you let them know whatever that compliment is. If you're in a health and wellness company, you could compliment somebody on the fact that they're health conscious, that they pay attention to what goes in their body. They pay attention to how they treat their body. If they're a business person, you can compliment them on being a business person. If they're a leader, you can compliment them on being a leader. If they're a great parent, you can compliment them on being a great parent. Whatever the compliment is, just make sure it's sincere. And if you can't find anything to compliment that person, then they might not be a great prospect, right? You should be able to find something that you can compliment the person on. So here's the key to this. It has to be sincere. It has to be sincere. Find something. And what you'll learn is professionals are doing this constantly. They're doing it constantly. When we do GoPro Recruiting Mastery at the event, we actually go through some role-playing of step 1 and step 2. We have people go introduce themselves to people, let them know they're in a hurry, and compliment them. Complimenting strangers in the room. They're going around and they're complimenting people, and you won't believe what happens in the room. Everybody instantly likes each other. And I ask people for feedback, and they go, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this person, and I know they're complimenting me as part of this exercise, as part of this role-playing exercise, but I still like them better. I still want to see them after the event. I still want to, when we're in the hallway, I'm going to, go shake hands, and we're connected now. They know it's an exercise, and they're still so filled up by feeling good about the compliment. Complete strangers involved in network marketing, they're so filled up with the compliment that they, even though they know it's not, they know it's an exercise, they still have a massively increased rapport. So step 1, you're in a hurry. Step 2 is compliment. Really important that you do this. And the professionals, like I say, are doing this constantly. Build this into a habit, and don't forget it. Just constantly be having this as a habit in your business, to be complimenting, because the walls come down, the red flags go away, they open their mind, they want to hear from you, they'll like you, and people want to do business with people that they like. Step 3 is to make the invitation. And as you're creating a little list of people that you're going to be inviting, there's 3 different kinds of invitations that you're going to use. 1 is the direct approach, 2 is the indirect approach, and 3 is the super indirect approach. And I'm going to give you examples of all 3. But start with the direct approach. The direct approach says, hey, I have an opportunity for you. I was thinking of some people that could make some money, and I thought about you. It's direct. It's right at the person. If you know their need, you can go right at them. And most people in network marketing, they use the direct approach for everybody. And frankly, it's not a great approach for everybody because it's kind of in your face, and it's kind of threatening, and it's kind of assumptive. You're assuming that you know their life. You're assuming that you know their need. And it can be dangerous, especially if they perceive themselves on a higher pecking order as far as influence or image in the world. It's a little bit dangerous. You know, for example, when I first started in network marketing, I was 23 years old. If I use a direct approach with a 40-year-old successful business person, that's not going to be a great approach. I'm 23, 18 jobs by the time I'm 23, and I'm going to somebody and say, hey, I've got an opportunity for you. Not so great. The indirect approach says, I need your help, I need your guidance, I need your input, I need your support. That's an indirect, where you can help me. And super indirect approach says, I'll give you some examples of that. So direct is right at them. Indirect is asking for support, help, guidance, input. Super indirect says, you're not a prospect, but I know that you know people, and you know some great people that can do well with this business. So let's talk about the direct approach. When you told me when you told me you wanted to go on vacation but you couldn't really afford it, were you serious or you just kidding around? You told me you wanted to get out of that house that you're in right now and move into a bigger house. Were you serious or you just kidding around? You told me that you really had to get out of that job and find something else to do because it was killing you. Were you serious or you just kidding around? If you know their need, you can ask this question. Were you serious or you just kidding around? I think I found a way for you to get it. Solve it. Make that happen. The other approach is kind of a common interest approach. Listen, I think I found a way for us to really boost our cash flow. We can make some more money. Not you, but we. We can make some more money. When I was first approached, one of my early mentors, John Joyce, is partnered with my dad. He said, hey, Eric, I think I found a way for us to make some more money. That was much more interesting than him saying, hey, Eric, I think I found a way for you to make some more money. The us part of that really, really works well. When I thought of people who could make an absolute fortune with a business I found, I thought about you. So that's a compliment too, right? And here's another one, great one. I got this off the record part from Todd Smith, good friend of mine, $1 million earner. Because everybody says, you know, if you ask them a question and you don't say off the record, they're going to give you one answer. If you say off the record, for some reason, everybody just says, oh, okay, let me just tell you what I really think. So let me ask you a question off the record. If there was a business you could start working part-time from your home that could replace your current income, would that interest you? So let me give you a few more. Have you ever thought about diversifying your income? Do you keep your career options open? Are you going to do what you're doing now for the rest of your life, or are you open to something else? You plan on doing there you go. You can tell it's kind of second nature for me. Do you plan on doing what you're doing now for the rest of your career? Are you open to creating some extra cash flow? Indirect approach. Warm market examples for indirect approach. This one is the best that I know for hot market, for your friends, for your family, everybody that you know that knows you well. I promise you, if you use this for, if you've already gotten started, you've already probably pounded through a lot of your warm market with a bunch of approaches that may or may not have worked. But here's what I will tell you. Give the next new person that comes into your business this gift. Have them do nothing with their first 25 people that they talk to, their friends and family, nothing but this approach at the beginning. I've just started a new business. I'm really nervous. Before I get going, I need to practice on somebody friendly. Can I practice on you? Can I practice on you? Can I just do the, practice this thing with you? I need a friendly face. So if you use a support compliment, I appreciate the fact that you've always supported me. Thank you so much for being my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad. Thank you for supporting me throughout the years. I really appreciate it. And listen, I just started a new business. I'm nervous. I'm brand new at this. I don't really know what I'm doing yet. Before I get going, I need to practice on somebody friendly. Can I practice on you? Can I come over and just practice? No pressure, no drama. I just want to practice. And what are they going to say? They're going to say, sure. Great, great, great for family and close friends. I found a business I'm really excited about, but what do I know? You've got a lot of experience. Would you look at it for me and let me know your opinion? I used this like crazy when I was 23, 24 years old because I didn't have any background, and I went to people and said, instead of saying, hey, I found a business for you, which they were going to laugh, I said, I found a business. I'm excited, but you've got a lot more experience than I do. Would you look at it for me? Let me know if I'm making the right decision. So asking for support, asking for help, especially if you give them a compliment, will work extremely well. I've got a new business that's expanding in your area. So let's say you know somebody, you live in Dallas, Texas, and you know somebody in Miami, Florida. You can call them up and say, listen, I've got a business expanding in Miami. I've got a business expanding in Houston, expanding in Los Angeles, expanding in wherever. Would you do me a favor and take a look at it and give me your opinion, see if it'll be successful in your area? I'd really appreciate it. Right? Or I've got a business regard whatever the particular kind of business that you have, there's natural people that are knowledgeable about your product or maybe have experience with your product. You can ask them, hey, would you evaluate the product? Tell me if you think it's a good product because you're really good with this kind of thing. So super indirect approach. I love the super indirect approach. Listen, the business I'm in clearly isn't for you. It's not for you. But I wanted to ask, who do you know it's ambitious, money motivated, excited about the idea of adding some more cash flow to their lives? Do you know anybody? See what I'm saying? Business I'm in isn't for you. You're way too successful. You're way too busy. Immediately they're going to say, well, why isn't it for me? What's wrong with me? Versus saying, hey, I found a business for you. They're like, whatever, I already have a couple businesses. So go to the super successful people and say, listen, you're not a prospect. I get it. But I know that you know people. Can you connect me? If you can connect me with some sharp people, then, listen, I'll make it worth your while. So here's some other examples. Who do you know that's hit a wall with their business and might be looking for a way to diversify their income? Who do you know? Who do you know that is tired of their career, tired of their job, hit a wall, frustrated, and looking to diversify their income or create some extra cash flow? Do you know some people? And what are they going to say? Of course they know some people. I'm working with a company that's expanding in this area. I'm looking for some sharp people that might be interested in some additional cash flow. Do you know anybody that might fit that description? I know that you're busy. I know that this isn't for you, but do you know anybody that might fit that description? I'd really appreciate it. So cold market, same as warm market. If you talk to somebody, let's say you talk to the #1 real estate salesperson in the market, and they're all puffed up and they're a big shot in the market, or they're #1 car salesperson or whatever, and just say, listen, this isn't for you, but I know that you know some people. Who do you know that might be frustrated and looking for some way to be able to increase their cash flow. Somebody who feels like they're underpaid for what they do. I know you're paid, very well for what you do. I'm not talking about you. I know you know some people. If you can help me connect with some people, then I'll make it worth your while. So super indirect. So understand, right now you've done 3 things, and you've done them quickly. So let's say I'm calling up a friend or a family member, and I'm saying, hey, listen, I call up my brother. Hey, listen, I don't have a lot of time. I'm running out the door, but I really needed to catch you. You got a second? He says, sure. I said, listen, I've always appreciated the fact that you've supported me through my whole life. You've always got my back. I appreciate that so much, and I just wanted to thank you for it. And I've just gotten started with the business, and I'm nervous. I'm brand new. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to understand what the heck I'm supposed to do with this business, and I need somebody to practice on, so I don't make a fool of myself to the public. Can I go make a fool of myself with you? Can I practice with you? Can I figure this out with you? If I come over and just kind of go through this, will you just be a friendly face and, help me kind of work out the bugs? Well, they can say, of course. So friends, family, use that approach. Same thing as if I'm using an indirect approach and I'm talking to somebody, which I use most of the time, indirect approach. I'm going to say, I'm going to call them up. Listen, I'm in a hurry. I'm running out the door. When I thought about people that were really sharp and could help me evaluate a business that I'm looking at right now, I thought about you because you're one of the sharpest people I know. You see things other people don't see. And you can go into the invitation. But you see what I've done there? I've kind of created a flow, created a rapport very quickly. 1, 2, 3. 1, urgency. I'm in a hurry. 2, I complimented them. And 3, I did an invite based upon the person that they were. And if we were face-to-face or if we were in a workshop, I'd have you role-play this to get comfortable with it. And you'll find within a very short period of time, you can get comfortable with all these different types of approaches. And your confidence will go up, your skills will go up, and you can continue to practice. So step 4, this one's huge, is if I would you. If I would you. This has been my secret weapon for a couple decades now. The reason is it's reciprocal. If I do this, would you do that? Because I'm already offering to do something first. If I do this, would you do that? It puts you in a place of power and control. Instead of begging, instead of apologizing, instead of doing whatever it is that you do, if I would you is amazing. And I will tell you, it works in every country around the world. It works in every culture in the world. I'm really in love with finding concepts, simple concepts that work everywhere, in every company, with every product, in every country and every culture. And this is one of them. If I would you. You've got something of value. You value yourself. And it works virtually every time. So, give you some examples. If I gave you a DVD that explains everything that I'm doing here, would you watch it? If I gave you a CD, would you listen to it? And, in today's world, you could say, hey, if I gave you a link to a video, would you watch it? If I sent you a link to an audio, would you listen to it? If I gave you a magazine or some printed material, would you read it? If I, gave you a link to a website with a complete presentation, would you check it out? Would you watch it? If I invited you to a special invitation-only webinar, would you attend? If I invited you to a special invitation-only conference call, would you listen in? See, if I invited you to a one-on-one presentation, or not a one-on-one, if I invited you for coffee, and I could share with you what it is that I have, would you join me? See what I'm saying? If I was you. If I was you. So understand right now, we're in a hurry. We complimented them. We did the invitation. Then we asked, if I would you. If I gave you a link with a video presentation, would you watch it? What are they going to say? if you've done the first 3 steps, they're going to say yes 99% of the time. But that yes isn't really a yes. A lot of times people get the yes and then they think they're done and they think that's going to work. It's not really a yes yet. Psychologically, people will say yes to that, and then life will get in the way and they won't watch. If you've been doing invitations and people aren't following through, the reason they're not following through is you haven't finished the invitation. If you want to get more people to take a look at your network marketing opportunity, you got to do 3 quick steps. Step 5 is confirm. When do you think you could watch the DVD for sure? When do you think you could listen to the CD for sure? When do you think? Don't suggest a time for them. Just ask them when, let's say you're going to send them a link to a video online. If I send you a link, would you watch it? And they say yes. When do you think you can see it for sure? Don't suggest a time for them. Ask the question and wait. This makes it real. And now they've said yes twice. They said yes when you said, if I would you, and they've said yes, or they've given you the time when they're going to watch it. Typically they'll say, well, I'll watch it tonight, or I'll watch it tomorrow. It doesn't matter what answer they give you. They could say, well, I'm really busy, I won't be able to watch it till next Monday. Don't tell them when to watch it. Ask them when they can watch it for sure. Okay? When do you think you could watch it for sure? When do you think you could listen to it for sure? When do you think you could read it for sure? Don't suggest, ask and wait. This makes it real, and they've said yes twice. Step 6 is confirmation number 2. You're going to confirm the time commitment. If they say they'll watch the DVD by Tuesday night, your response would be, so if I called you on Wednesday morning, you'll see it for sure, right? They'll either say yes or they're going to adjust. So if they say, when can you watch the link? I can watch it tonight. So if I call you tomorrow, you'll see it for sure, right? Yeah, absolutely. They're going to say yes again to this. And now it's becoming more and more real in their brain. And understand, these are 8 steps, but when you just practice a tiny little bit, you're going to find that your results go straight up. Straight up. And it's going to get easier and easier and easier. This is something that if you were forced to learn it, you could learn it in 24 to 48 hours. If this was your job, you could master it in 48 hours. But since it's not your job, some of you will just suffer for the next 48 weeks. That's part of our business, sadly, but it's true. They've said they'll either say yes or, well, maybe the kids are going to be too busy, and then you just adjust it a little bit. Now they've confirmed 3 times. You've asked the questions. Their answers made the appointment. You understand what I'm saying? So if I give you this, would you do this? Yes, I will. When do you think you could do it for sure? I can do it by Tuesday night. All right, so if I call you on Wednesday, you'll have done it for sure, right? Yes. Step number 7 is schedule the next exposure. Just as, what's the best number and time for me to call? So if I call you on Wednesday, you'll have done it for sure, right? Yeah. What's the best number and time for me to call? Now they've said yes 4 times. Your numbers will go from about 5% people following through on the exposure to 80% plus people following through on the exposure. Okay? If you want to get more people to look at this, you got to learn how to ask these 3 questions. If I would you, yes, I will. When do you think you can do it for sure? I can do it on Thursday. So if I call you on Friday, you've done it for sure, right? Yes. All right, what's the best number and time for me to call? 11 a.m., call my cell phone. Fantastic. Okay? Really simple. Really simple. But those extra questions make it real. Those extra questions turn it from not really an invitation into a real invitation. And step 8 is get off the phone. Get off the phone. Be done. Once they've said yes and you've scheduled the time for the next call, so you say, listen, I got to go. Remember, you're in a hurry. Don't talk yourself out of the appointment. Say something like, great, we'll talk then. I got to run. See, understand that, get off the phone, hang up. Understand that if you do this right, this should last about 3 minutes, 4 minutes total. It'll set the appointment with some urgency. your results will go way, way, way up. Your questions and objections will go way down. If you do what I just described to you, you won't have a million questions. You won't have a million objections. See, I'm going to give you these 8 steps again. And I'm going to give you some examples. If I'm in a hurry and I call you and I say, hey, listen, I don't have a lot of time, but I'm glad I caught you. You have a second? You say yes. I just want you to know that you're one of the sharpest business people I know. You see things other people don't see. You just got a great business mind. And I've come across something that I'm really excited about, but you've got more knowledge about business than I do. And I would like it if you would take a look at it and give me your feedback. Would you do that for me? If I gave you a link to a presentation that explained it all online, would you watch it? If I invited you to coffee at Starbucks sometime soon here, would you sit down with me? If I had you listen to a special invitation-only conference call that explains it all better than I could, would you listen? See, they're going to say, well, if they're going to say, well, what is it? You're going to say, well, listen, the presentation will explain it better than I could. Or if you're going to meet one-on-one, listen, when I'm together, it's going to be easier to explain it than trying to do it over the phone. See what I mean? It's just not natural to throw in a bunch of stuff there. And if you, to family and friends, those are the ones that usually give you the most grief. If you compliment them and you use the support compliment, I appreciate your support. I appreciate the fact that you got my back. I appreciate the fact that, you're my family. And I need a friendly face. Can I practice with you? They say, sure. All right. Well, if I give you this link, would you watch it? Because you told me I'm supposed to give you this link. See what I mean? You can be real innocent about it. And if I give it to you, will you watch it? Yes, I will. When do you think you can watch it for sure? Step number 5, I can do it tonight. Oh, fantastic. So if I call you tomorrow, you'll have done it for sure, right? Yeah. What's the best number and time for me to call? 2 p.m. tomorrow. Call my cell. Fantastic. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Love you. See you later. Bye. See how fast that is? Really fast. Now understand, you're not going to be perfect at all of this. But if every single one of you can be in a hurry. You could just decide, okay, and I'm picking up the phone now, I need to be in a hurry. Every one of you can compliment the person that you're talking to. Every one of you can make an invitation and think about the kind of invitation that you want to make before you get on the phone. Every one of you can say, if I would you, inviting them to an event or a get together or a tool. Every one of you can say, when do you think you could do it for sure? So if I called you after that, you've done it for sure, right? What's the best number and time for me to call? And every one of you can hang up. Every one of you. Now understand, this isn't like magic beans where you're going to, people get involved in network marketing. They think that they never have to develop any skills. They're just going to, the system's going to do all the work. The tools are going to do all the work. The product's going to do all the work. That's not true. You've got to do some work. If you want to be a network marketing professional, you've got to spend some time working on these skills. And understand, if you go in and you've got these 8 things in front of you, right? If you've got the GoPro book, you've got it highlighted. Here's my little 8 steps. Here's what I need to do. And if you go do 100 invitations and you detach from the outcome, you do 100 invitations and understand that every time you do an invitation, you're going to learn. You're going to get better. You can modify. You can adjust. You can work on your passion. You can work on your urgency. You can say, gosh, I can't believe I forgot the compliment. I can't believe I didn't start the call with I'm in a hurry. I didn't even say if I would you. What am I doing? Okay, I got to fix that. By the time you go through 100, you're going to be great. You're going to be awesome. It's better than going through 100, crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. That's what amateurs do. You're not an amateur. You want to be a professional, right? This will help you become a professional. So understand, there's more in-depth on all of these 8 steps inside of GoPro. But this philosophy, this kind of mindset, this commitment to greatness is going to change everything for you. So number one, everybody on this call, I want you to commit to this simple process of inviting, because it's going to change your numbers dramatically. If your invitations are really poor, even people who are making the commitment to take a look, if you're down at 5-10% of people who actually follow through, then this is going to help you go 50%, 60%, 80%. It's going to go straight up. So, and understand, this doesn't answer all the questions. On this webinar, it's difficult to answer every single question. But if you have this as kind of a framework, and then you go to the book and you look at those different aspects, what happens if a person didn't look at the materials? That's covered there when they said that they were going to. What happens if they don't call you back? What happens if they don't answer the phone? What happens if they throw in an objection? All of those things. I can't cover everything tonight, but all of those things are covered there, and you can kind of reinforce your skill set. So number one, I want you to commit to being great, and I want you to accept a challenge with me, okay? Today is October 1st. In the next 30 days, I want you to make a commitment to do 100 invitations to 100 prospects using this 8-step approach in the month of October. That's averaging about 3 a day. 100 invitations with 100 prospects in the month of October, and I want you to take notes after each one and get better and get better and get better. There's no good and no bad experiences, only learning experiences. Go make the invitations and get better. Okay, so number one, I want you to commit to it. Number two, take the 100 invitation challenge. Number three, I want you to teach it to the people in your organization. Take the people who really want to go pro, and teach this to them. It's going to change your business. It'll change everything. All right? Are you with me? I wish we were in the same room so I could see if you're with me. But